Hello and welcome to the X-Files Revisited. We are on to episode 6 of season 3 and this one's called Too Shy. Brian, is it better than the list, first of all, and does it have a little bit more of a legacy?
I think it does, yeah. I think it's certainly a stronger episode, a lot stronger in fact. I really like it. I remember when it first aired on TV, I used to buy all the sci-fi magazines. There was I can't even remember what the name of it was now. There's a particular science fiction magazine that I used to buy, and I used to love the episode reviews in that. And they were really harsh on it. They hated it because they thought it was a hate mail against women, against fat women. And it was just like, I feel like you're kind of missing the point. Seriously, but yeah, I thought they'd completely, just got that wrong. I really liked it. Yeah, really misread it. I thought it was a great episode. Maybe a contender for top 5. Well, realistically, maybe not. I think that this season does have a lot of strong episodes, I think. It does have its fair share of weak ones, but to say that this might not make my top 5 is a compliment to how good this season actually might be overall than anything else. Don't let the list shape.
That's a good statement. That's promising, because I don't feel that the season's been overly strong so far. There's been a clear outstanding episode so far, and if you say that there may be more to come, that's quite exciting, frankly, after the start that we've had. So take us away with this episode, Brian.
Okay, so we see a guy and a girl on a date. She can't seem to believe her luck, and then he gobs all over her and police find her body. Trying to boil it down to its basic kind of most bare essentials information, but feel free to talk about that in greater detail.
Okay, so I mean, we have which is possibly the most tattiest looking car we've ever seen, ever. It looks like a shoebox. We've got 2 people. Shabby would be an improvement. It's got 2 people inside this car just chit-chatting. The guy is saying everything right. He's not putting a foot wrong. It's obviously people that know each other but don't really know each other in person. They're having a conversation. He's saying everything the right way. She's kind of meek-mannered and unsure. And he leans in for a kiss. And before you know it, he's filled her with his jelly.
Oh. Why?
It's what happens.
Why? I'm alive.
It's kind of gross and disgusting and fun and sticky and icky.
It's the way you see when she starts panicking. So she starts breathing really heavy, or tries to, and then you see it on her mouth, kind of moving back and to, and it's just like, ugh.
Yeah, it's tangible and yuck-inducing. It's fun.
It puts you off pork pies, put it that way. So Mulder and Scully arrive on the scene and the body is wasted. Mulder pulls goo off it that was only found on the body and nowhere else. He asks Scully to check it out while he goes to find out if the victim was on misslonelyhearts.com like the other victims. So we can assume from this that this is a case Mulder's been working for a little while already. And this is a clear front runner for another victim.
And so far in this opening scene before the credits start, we have a kind of run at the theme of this. You know, you have men judging and using women for their needs or diminishing their importance because of their sexuality. We have the detective who completely ignores Scully when he meets them. You know, shakes the hand of Mulder, says, "Come with me, Mulder," and kind of has a look but doesn't acknowledge her. Mulder even says, "This is Scully," and he's just like, and moves on. It's just a precursor as to what we're going to get in this episode and what the thematics is about, which is the subjugation of females, the sexuality of them being used for men's needs, only being required when it's, you know, those typical women type things that this sort of archaic detective deems is fitting for them. Already, there's more here to think about rather than just the plot. You know, instantly, it's better than the list. Yeah,
there's metaphor there. There's metaphor. That's the thing. It's like you can take it at face value. You can literally just enjoy the police procedural element, the hunt for a killer. Or if you want to go a little deeper, there's something there. What's it saying? Well, it's a discussion about the roles of men and women in society, and you know, this guy, you can almost sympathise with this guy because of his condition. It's like, it's not like he wants to kill these women. He kind of feels like he's got no choice, but then again, you also get the feeling that he's grown to like it because the way that he toys with them, the way that he plays with their affections is somewhat sadistic. He doesn't need to do that.
He's a hunter.
He's a hunter. He's become
predator.
Yeah, predator. He's become in love, I guess, with that the thrill of the hunt, basically. So there is that kind of thing all tied up with his character, the way he treats women as something that he needs, that he uses, that he needs to use. So
and then discards.
Okay. And discards, Once he's finished with them, once he's got what he wants from them, that's it. They're done. Quite clever, I think. But Mr. Encanto, as he is called, we learn, is already making moves on his next victim via his computer. When a neighbour...
Just to stop you quickly, like, Mr. Encanto is a name. I literally thought they said Mr. Incognito at the start.
Mr. Incognito?
Like, sorry? Excuse me? But yeah, it's such a weird name, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I've never heard it before or since, it must be said.
I'm sure it's an anagram or something.
Oh, it's probably literature based, isn't it? There's probably some famous character in a piece of literature. Yeah, in a piece of literature that us non-well-read individuals have no clue about, but some English major somewhere like, mouth
breathers. Us mouth breathers, Brian, don't know that.
Yes, that's why we do a podcast on film and television and not the latest books that have been released. So, Mr. Encanto is already making moves on his next victim via his computer when a neighbour shows up asking him to read her poems. Don't mind saying she's a little bit annoying. He seems totally awkward and disinterested.
I wouldn't say awkward. Disinterested, yes. Can't be bothered. This isn't his prey. He's not interested. So it's just dismissive. You know, you're not used to me. I'm not going to even, play with you at all. I just need to go away.
There does, to me, feel like a bit of awkwardness there. But I think it's related to the daughter. And this is just something I pick up on later. I don't know what it is, but it might not be there at all. I don't know if it is in the performance or what, but I feel like, I don't know, like he doesn't want to harm the daughter, like for whatever reason.
No, I just get it as in it's too close to home. sometimes to her, so he can't attack her, so he's not interested.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like there's a bit of awkwardness there, because he doesn't want to use this woman, but he doesn't want to draw any attention either, and I feel like there's a bit of awkwardness, but also disinterest, mostly disinterest, but I feel like he doesn't quite know how to,
and she's not really his type either.
No. So I do find her a little bit irritating, because she's one of those people who is like instantly finds out that someone does the same kind of thing as her, but they're on a much more successful level, so they kind of try and push their way in the door thinking that there'll be a step up on. Anyway, I didn't catch his name, so I just wrote a line. Let's call him Douchebag, because we usually get him. Detective Douchebag. So this is the guy who kind of was a bit sexist towards Scully at the beginning. Detective Douchebag is really surprised by Scully showing up to do the autopsy, but he's not sexist, as he puts it. He's just old-fashioned, he says. When she pulls the body out, it's liquefied. Yeah, so she pulls the...
cool.
She pulls it out and it...
Oh yeah, the detective might as well just say to her, look, what are you doing here? There's meals to be prepped. It's so dismissive, and I really liked Scully's response, because she doesn't bite, she doesn't fight back. She's just kind of like, where do you want me to send the results? And then go away. She's nice about it. And then, like you said, that the body scene is just awesome. When she pulls the tree out and the wave of goo.
It's gnarly. Just like the way the tray stops and then it just goes over the edge. It's like There's a lot of elements in this episode that make me gag. A lot of moments where I'm just like.
Is it? I'm just like, that's so cool.
Oh man, it's just I hate anything that's gunky.
Well, there was some definite chunks in there.
Oh man. Okay, moving on. Mulder goes to see the victim's sister, who tells him about Too Shy and his way with words. So Too Shy is the name he uses on the computer on these dating sites. And Scully phones Mulder, who tells her that Too Shy used one of his previous victims' credit cards to set up his online dating account. So it is the same killer. Scully tells him to get to the coroner's office. So, yeah.
Yep. Favourite part of this exchange is when the girl admits that she's took her own copies of all the emails. You're like, why?
Well, it's sad though. It's like, man, living vicariously through the life of someone else. Not even a real life, but like a virtual. It's just good grief. I mean, that in itself is a social commentary about the modern world, isn't it? And this was like 20 years ago. Yeah. So yeah, man alive, how far we've come. Not.
How far we've fallen.
How far we've fallen, yeah. So, squishy bones and stomach acid ×2 strength. So basically, Scully's autopsy reveals that the bones that were on the victim have gone squishy. She literally just squashes them with a pair of tongs. And the liquid that they found on the body is essentially stomach acid. It's a very similar kind of chemical as stomach acid, but it's like twice the strength, more than twice the strength. Scully says that the chemical compound analysis shows fatty tissue is missing. So even like everything's turned to gunk, obviously we saw that, but you can still, you can test the chemicals to find out what's still there and what's not. and based on a chemical analysis, the gunk that should be there from melted fat tissue isn't there. So before this body turned to mush, the fat had been removed from the body, which is disgusting.
Which is, yeah, but I mean, it's unfortunate and it's cool, but you jump to the conclusion. Fat vampire.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is pretty awesome.
If you like that kind of thing.
It's just weird and fun.
Yeah, it's off the wall. So victim number 2 is chatting with a friend. So this is the one that he's making moves on currently. Mm-hmm. She's chatting to a friend who is advising her against meeting Too Shy because of the FBI public service announcement. Sense would dictate that you listen to the friend, but given the psychology that is involved here, and this is the psychology that Encanto preys on, knows exactly what he's doing. This is someone who's very insecure, and due to her body, and someone's showing interest. Can she give that up? It's that option of but Encanto, as it seems, does indeed get stood up, so she makes the right choice. She doesn't go out to the date. She listens to her friend. So instead, Encanto picks up a prostitute, attacks her, and she takes her pound of flesh, and then he goes in for the kill. So she scratches him, takes the dry skin off him, he does his business with her foot.
Sucks her fat, Brian.
Sucks her fat. Oh. Yeah. It makes me gag. It really makes me gag. Okay. Moving on. Another prostitute finds her, and the man that she's with does a runner. Really solid guy.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's hiring a prostitute to start off with, Brian, so I don't think his morals are quite in the right place.
Mulder and Scully arrive, and when Scully says what the substance is, the detective wants to know what they're not telling him. And Mulder says the killer is most likely an academic, as he quoted books in his letters that can only be got from private libraries. So this is a guy with money who would have to be in some kind of academic circles to get access to them. So nice bit of detective work from Mulder. Encanto is fixing his hand when he gets a delivery. So it was from his hand where he got the...
He's cutting the skin off with scissors. What an image.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of Brundlefly.
Yeah.
It's a bit that kind of David Cronenberg body horror type stuff. So he gets a delivery that needs signing for, and so he goes down and runs into Jessie in the corridor. So she's the blind daughter of Poem Lady, and he basically ruins Poem Lady's chances of a date with Encanto, because she talks to him and Poem Lady comes out all kind of, oh, Mr. Encanto, ooh, and then she basically blames her daughter for her being crap at trying to score.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah.
It's just I wasn't expecting her to turn around and just put it all on the girl. That's your fault.
I know. Yeah. Basically that's why she gets killed, because she's this character. So Mulder brings Scully the analysis of Encanto's skin from the prostitute's fingernails. It has no fat oils. Mulder theorises a fat-sucking vampire. Something that at this point we kind of already knew anyway, but hey ho, thanks for catching up, Mulder and Scully. Detective says they've come up with a list of 38 names based on Mulder's info and profile. And Scully wants to debrief the officers that are going out to check them. So,
yeah, I've got a feeling she's doing that just to mess with them. I'll brief the officers.
I think she is, to be honest. I think you're right. What I notice here when I'm reading these notes off, when compared with the last episode, is that there's a lot of scenes here where they don't really need much talking about, because they're quick scenes that kind of are there to advance the story forward.
Yeah, they have a point.
You know, they give us new information, they advance the story forward, and they get us moving. And it's like, it feels a lot faster, a lot better paced. You know, we're not languishing in information that we already know. We're just being given new information all the time. This is plot stuff, so it doesn't really need that much talking about. But yeah, so Encanto checks his package, seems quite excited by his book that he's got, and the woman who stood him up wants another chance. There's a not, so basically she gets in touch with him on the computer, says please give us another go, and then he kind of gives a bit of a smile, like he's got a hook, line and sinker. Boom. Then there's a knock at the door. Scully? No, it's douchebag detective. So they pull a Silence of the Lambs on us, basically. We get that thing where, like with Clarice Starling, but
it's good. It's effective.
Yeah, it's an effective technique. It works in Silence of the Lambs. It works here. It's good. Only here we know that this guy's about to cop it, because he ain't Scully.
Yes.
So Scully is coordinating when Mulder shows up to complain about his door-to-door skills. He says that he wasn't very good at going door-to-door. And like, it's 38 names.
Yeah.
If I've got one problem with with some of the intricacies of this episode, it's they're checking 38 names. They're going door-to-door to 38 houses. And it's not just Mulder and Scully. They've got the local police force on it.
Well, I was having a think about this, and they're all like college professors and academics.
All right.
So rather than going to their houses, could they just not go to the workplace and just knock off like 6 names at once? Don't know. Just seemed like the obvious choice for me.
Yeah, it might be a weekend.
Could have been. I suppose.
That's why Encanto's at home getting deliveries.
But he does book translations in his home.
It's true. That is true. Okay, so but anyway, 38 names. They could have made it like 150, something like that. We've got 5 officers to check these 150 names. Do you two want to chip in? Sure, we'll go and do like 25 each. All right, I could understand getting a bit tedious doing 25, but hey ho, whatever. So yeah, Scully cuts Mulder off during his moaning and tells him that Agent Cross is missing, that he's not turned up yet. He's not come back in. Helen and Encanto are on a date.
Yeah.
Encanto pays, being very chivalrous.
Oh, he's working the magic.
He's just, he knows how to work it. He's a man of many charms. He reveals his eczema. So he has his dry skin, and she offers to give him a lift home. It's a nice scene, actually, because in many ways it reminds me a bit of Humbug, the way that, because it's this reversal thing that they're on a date, and the one that we see as the confident one is Encanto. He's the good looking, the charmer, that kind of thing. And then we've got this woman who is there because she's desperate. She's really she's struggled with relationships, she's struggled with self-image, self-worth, and all that lot. She's very nervous, very down on herself. So when this guy that she's, I guess at this point, holding on a pedestal, it seems like he's got some kind of skin disease.
Yeah, a little flaw.
Yeah, it kind of turns that table a little bit, where he becomes, the one that would be the outcast or whatever. But
yeah, but there's a nice subtext running here of it's never out and out said, but these women are all kind of, like you said, frail, damaged, broken a little bit, because of possibly the way men have treated them. It never comes out and out and says it, but the reason these people are unsure about their body's worth or how they feel about themselves is probably because people have put them down, men have put them down.
Yeah.
And it's nice that they never go and out say that, but it's quite apparent if you pay attention.
Absolutely, yeah. It's definitely there, definitely. So Helen, they're on the date. Blah blah blah. Gives him a lift home, and Encanto's kind of like, "Why don't you come inside? Have a brew." And she's like, "Oh, I don't know. She's really umming and ahhing. And while she's umming and ahhing, he sees that the light is on in his house, because nosy neighbour has gone a looking.
Yeah, I've got a bit of a problem here. Like this woman does not know that less is more. She's trying to put a phone book's worth of poems, which, how many is that? Seriously, like under the door. And it would fit if she just gave it a squeeze. It would go under.
Yeah.
Why does she have keys?
She's the landlord.
She's the landlord, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So why is she getting in there snooping about?
I know. That's what I mean. It's like, dude, taking liberties. Landlord or not, you come into my house, which I'm renting off you.
You're getting jellied.
And you're getting jellied. I'm paying for that privacy. Thank you very much. So yeah, Encanto's neighbours let herself in, so basically Helen suddenly says, "Okay, go on." She's about to say, "Go on, I'll come in for a brew." When he just says, "Actually, you know what? It's late. I've got things to do. I better get going." And then he literally just steps out of the car and goes. And then she's left, kind of thinking, "Oh, okay, story of my life," kind of thing. So. Yeah. So
it's such a change as well. It's just like, okay, the game needs to stop. There's something more important for me.
Yeah.
Just that change in personality.
His instincts kick in. It's like his real self kicks in. Basically, he turns off all the charm, gets down to business. So yeah. The neighbour finds Detective Cross in the bathtub.
Who I'd actually forgot wasn't in the episode anymore. What's he going to find? Like I just completely forgot the
Seriously?
detective. Yeah.
Wow, okay.
I don't know why.
So he's liquefied in the bathtub, and then in an out of focus, kind of just behind her, out of focus, we see Encanto step into shot. Really nicely done, really well shot, really well directed. I like it. It's chilling. So what I wrote here, a note that I found as well, which I really liked, is the neighbour screams. She screams, but nothing comes out.
I can't say I noticed.
Did you not? All right, because to me it really sent a chill down my spine. Just the idea that, like, she's so terrified by what she just see. Like, she literally, her mouth goes wide like she's screaming, but nothing comes out, and it's almost like someone's got hold of her throat. But I just thought it was a really nice touch. Because normally in like horror movies, you get the scream queen kind of tack of like and I like that they just played with that. It was nice. So Jessie comes looking for her mother, and surprised Encanto didn't lock the door, quite frankly. Because she just wanders in.
Everybody's got a key.
Like daughter, yeah, like mother, like daughter. He gets rid of her, tells her he's off to New York for a few days when she stumbles on his suitcase. And again, there's that element there that he could kill her right now.
Oh yeah.
You know, and he doesn't. And I do get that sense that there is still a little bit of humanity in him somewhere. There's something within him that says, I don't want to kill this girl, you know? So, because I don't believe that it's purely survival instinct at this point. He's already done the deed with a mother. There's no reason to keep her alive other than the fact that I don't want to kill her.
Yeah.
So the police are all phoning around for Cross, and someone says that they saw him going into Encanto's building. So the cops bust down the door like gangbusters, find the bodies. Scully talks to Jessie, who tells her she smelled her mother's perfume in the apartment, which is why she knew Encanto was lying. So presumably she's the one who phoned the police and told them that.
Yeah.
So it's a nice scene, I think, between Scully and Jessie, and it's quite tragic as well, because Jessie has lost her mother now. She's lost, you know.
But then
she's
her mother
blind.
was a bit of a prat as well.
She was, but you know, she's clingy, I would say. She really wanted this guy and was just willing to blame her daughter for her failings, but. What mother doesn't do that, really? So Mulder says Encanto is a translator of Italian literature. Freelance, got paid in traveller's checks. I don't understand what traveller's checks are, to be honest. I don't understand what that means if somebody gets paid in traveller's checks.
I think it's like a cashier's check that you just put in for cash.
Okay, so you don't. In other words, you don't need an identity, basically, to.
I don't think so. I think you can just go in or have like your name on something and be able to cash that check.
Okay, all right. So presumably that would mean he could put previous victims' names on them. I don't know. Like I say, I don't understand traveller's checks, but there you go. Other than that, there's nothing on the guy. No records, no nothing. The guy is practically a ghost. So they take his computer. We get a great scene that I'm sure you like, because
Enhance.
I know you love these scenes. Enhance. So the analyst says it will take time to restore the files. But do we doubt him?
No.
He's an analyst on the X-Files. Of course we don't doubt him. He'll get to the bottom of it. So, but until he does, we're going to build some tension by Ellen's doorbell going off at night at stupid o'clock in the morning. It's Encanto. He wants to come in and explain his rather bizarre behaviour earlier. So we go back to the analyst, and he has all the names of the victims and potential victims off Encanto's computer. Dude works fast.
Yes. And it's like, why would you have a list of all these names?
Well, I'm guessing it's not a list that he's compiled as in like, oh, a nice trophy list. I'm guessing what he's done is by saying he's got a list, he means he's checked his internet history, he's checked his computer history, and it links to all the women that they know, you know, are victims and whatnot. So I would imagine.
Okay.
I don't know. That's the way I would look at it anyway. But Ellen goes to put on some clothes because she's in a nightie. As well as going online to tell her friend who's at her apartment. So she's all excited that Encanto's back to explain, and she just can't resist flipping her computer on and telling her mate, who literally lives just across the hall,
I'm about to do it.
I'm about to do it. Woo! Okay. So Scully says everyone's been checked except for 2 names. So Ellen gets the FBI warning via email just as she's about to wrap up on a computer, and also just as Encanto comes in through the door. She gets upset, proper freaks out, and he goes in for the attack. Great scene.
For the kiss.
Loved it. I love this scene. I thought the performances here were absolutely brilliant. I thought the staging of it with the camera, the way he comes in for the attack, I thought her reaction was absolutely brilliant.
Yes, she was excellent.
I can't say I know this actress, as in I can't say that I've seen her in anything else after this, but her performance in here was really good. I really liked it. For someone who's just a Vancouver local actress who's probably just a jobbing actor or something, got her part in the X-Files. I thought, you know what, does some incredible work in this scene. I really feel for her. That's the thing. Her performance really makes me root for her. So yeah, great stuff. Need to flip my page. So Mulder and Scully turn up, burst through the door, find Ellen on the floor. Mulder sees someone running outside, so goes in pursuit. Scully calls for an ambulance with a special burns unit. So, yeah. So Mulder in pursuit of our killer.
And a nice bit of misdirection, which I did not see coming until we go back to Scully again. But it's pretty good. This is simultaneously one of the best things about the episode and one of my major bugbears. But continue, we'll get to it in a moment.
Okay. Alright. I think I know where you're going here.
Oh, you know exactly.
No. Actually, maybe I don't. Or if I do, then I may have some issues with it. So
it's the gun. It's the gun, Brian. Scully, a trained FBI agent, leaves her gun lying on the floor to go away and wash her hands. Right.
Didn't even pick up on it, mate. Didn't even pick up on it. What I thought you were going to say is, and it wouldn't make sense, I don't know why you would say it, clearly you weren't going to, because you didn't, so I thought you were going to say that it should be Scully who takes him down, and she doesn't, but yeah, as long as it's a woman that takes him down, that's the important thing. But I actually thought that because when I said Mulder goes after the killer, at that point I expected you to roll your eyes and say that, when I first saw this, when this first happened, I thought, no, Mulder should not be the dude to chase this guy down, because this is usually the kind of thing you'd pick up on. But yeah, it's like, when I watched that scene, I mean, I've seen it before, so I knew where it was going, but when that scene came up, I was like, oh, Graham's going to be flinching in his seat right now. He's going to be like, no, Scully should be taking this guy. But yeah, like I say, misdirection. So, because Mulder catches up with the runner, and it just turns out to be some random graffiti artist who's dodging about the streets at night. And it's at that point that Scully is attacked. So she's in the bathroom. We see...
Unarmed.
Yeah, unarmed. Stupidly so. And in all fairness, she does think that the killer has bolted. Mulder has gone after him.
Still wouldn't leave a loaded weapon lying about.
Yeah, I mean, how hard is it to just whack it back in the holster rather than put it down on the floor? But oh well. I mean, it would have made more sense, to be honest, if she'd have kept hold of the gun and Encanto flipped it out of her hand at some point.
Well, I'm just thinking as well, how many times have you seen them enter a room and they start to clear the rooms one by one? You know, they check the corners, check the other rooms, and that they didn't do that here. They just jump to assumptions.
Yeah,
it's a minor foible.
It is. It's TV, yeah, but it's just like I do think that there is no excuse for that gun thing because, like you say, they could have had Encanto jumping out behind Scully. She turns around with a gun. He whacks it out of her hand. They have the fight, and then Helen still gets the gun. So to have the simplicity of Scully just being stupid enough to leave it there, it's a bit lazy, really. A bit lazy. It is a very minor thing, though. So, yeah, they have a fight. Really good fight. Scully gets some good, kicks good punches in there. Yeah. Typical kind of Scully, If this had been Mulder, he'd have been getting his ass handed to him by now. So,
and then we get Helen finally giving them one.
Putting the bullet in, and it's right that it's Helen. I think. I think it's good that she gets to be the one to do it. But surprisingly, Encanto isn't dead.
Yeah,
he sits in a cell. Mulder gives him a list of names, asks how many are his. He says all of them. He's very blunt about that. So it's almost a sense of pride in it with the way that he says it. Scully treats him with disgust, but he says he was feeding a hunger. He tries to justify it, basically saying he's feeding hunger.
And then he falls off with the best line, I think, which was just fantastic. In his mind, it's, I gave them what they wanted. They gave me what I needed.
Yeah. To which Scully replies, not anymore. To which he responds with Latin, the dead are no longer lonely. So he genuinely sees himself as some kind of what's the name of that dude in famous literature who charms the women? I can't remember. Is it de Bergerac or something?
Cyrano de Bergerac.
Cyrano de Bergerac. Yeah. So he genuinely sees himself as some kind of like he's giving these women something before he takes their life. Yeah. Yeah, I've done them a favour. They were never going to get with anyone, so in their final moments, I gave them what they could only dream of. I guess is the way he looks at it. So it's a really great scene. I like that exchange between him and Scully. Really nicely played. And that's it. That's where we go out. So dude is still alive. I think this guy would make for an excellent film, if they wanted to Wrath of Khan it, like they did with Star Trek. They brought back a villain from the TV series and made him a villain of a movie. I think if they wanted to do that with this guy, I'd be up for seeing that. But yeah, that's it. We're out of the episode.
Done.
Wrap up. Go for it.
I really enjoyed this episode right from the off. Creature of the Week is always episodes that really I feel drawn to, but this one isn't just the creature. There's a good subtext to the whole thing about being sexist, misusing women, and women being just generally thought of as objects, not personalities, things to be played with, things in general and not actual people, and the kind of subjugation of these certain women who have been just almost thrown away. It's never out and said, but I really did find that something I could latch on to and something that was really interesting and really worthwhile. And it's always nice to get these kind of episodes that have something that is eternal. It's always going to be something that's up for discussion. It's always good to reiterate that type of message. Performances are good. I love all the goo, the gore, the disgusting stuff. It's my kind of thing, and I had a real fun time on this episode. A couple of minor niggles here and there, but they're forgivable in the big picture. When you look at something like the list, these little things aren't that big a problem. For me, it's a solid 4 out of 5.
Oh wow, okay. 4. I really love this episode. Again, all the metaphorical stuff, all the deeper meanings, I love that stuff. Whenever they do that with episodes, like you, I just think it just adds so much more value to it. I love this guy as a villain. I think he's a real slime ball, but like literally. But there is something there. They put just enough in there to make you understand where he's at, why he is the way he is. That there's a little bit of humanity because he doesn't kill the daughter, and there is that slight justification of actually, on some kind of evolutionary level, he needs to do this to survive. So yeah, I love Scully in this. I love it when she gets to kick ass. And I actually, other than those 2 minor quibbles, which really are minor, I'm going to give this a 5.
Okay.
I really like it. I do. I really like it. It's when I look at season 3, if you just say list 5 episodes from season 3 that people should watch if they want to become an X-Files fan, this will get named. Instantly I'll just think Clyde Bruckman, Too Shy, Pusher, and the 2-parter that we've got coming up later. So I'll just say yeah, they'll come up. But 5 out of 5 for me.
Excellent. So tell me a little bit about The Walk. Is this another one of those typical tropes where you get a good episode and then we tail off with a really poor episode?
No, I think this is solid. I think this is a solid episode. A lot of people really like this one, actually.
Okay.
It's not up there for me, but I think, we're probably looking at least a 3 and maybe at most a 4. I think we're hovering around the 3 to 4 mark, so I think it's solid. I think interesting concept, very interesting concept.
Is it a monster, supernatural, sci-fi?
So it's Freak of the Week, but it's basically a guy who can leave his body.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like astral projection kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
Yeah.
Cool. The Walk. I like it. Okay, I'm in on this one. That's something to look forward to. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, if you're watching on Brian's channel. And we'll see you next episode on the X-Files Revisited.